Now continue our hello student. Now we continue our chapter. This is video number third, ongoing chapter number third, class 12 history. Now today's topic beyond birth, resources and the status. Slaves, landless agricultural laborers, hunters, fisher flock, pastoralists, peasants, village, headmen, craftspersons, merchants, and kings emerge as the social actors in the different parts of the subcontinent. Their social peasants were often shaped by their areas to economic resources. Now, the granted access to the property. According to the Manusmriti, the paternal estates was to be divided equally among the sons after the death of the parents, with the special share for the eldest woman could not claim the share of these resources. Stridhana, that means woman wealth, would be the inherited by their children without the husband having claim on it. Now, Manusmriti warned women against the hoarding the family property or even their own valuable without the husband's permissions. So, the epigraphic and the textual evidence suggests that the upper class women may have had access to the resources, land, cattlemen's money were generally controlled by the men. Varnas and the access to the property. Varnas was the another Christians for the regulating access to the property or the wealth. The wealthiest men, the Brahmins and the Kshatriyas. Kings are the almost in rival respect as the wealthy. Priests are also the generally shown to be the rich. Through these, there are the occasionally depictions of the poorest Brahmins. Buddhists reject the idea of the claims of the status on this the basis of the birth. Alternative, the social scenario is sharing the wealth. People's either the claims or the were the assigned status on the basis of their wealth. However, there are the other possibilities as well. Situation where the men who were the miserly or the simply accumulated wealth or the themselves were the despised. One area where these the values were the cherished was the ancient Tamilkam. There were the several chiefdoms around 2000 years ago. So in the fourth point we have discussed कि बेटा जो प्रॉपर्टी है, ठीक है, अब वो कैसे हो गए रिसोर्सेज. अगर आप बर्थ के बेस पे अपने रिसोर्सेज को क्लेम करते हैं या जैसे सपोज कीजिए फादर है और फादर की प्रॉपर्टी को अमंगस्ट उनके जो भी सन्स हैं चिल्ड्रंस हैं उसके अंदर शेयर करते हैं, तो अलग अलग यहाँ पे सिचुएशन थे, अलग अलग नॉर्म्स थे. वर्णास के अकॉर्डिंग अलग था. वर्णास के अकॉर्डिंग बेटा जो प्रॉपर्टी है वो ट्रांसफ़र हो रही है उसके सन्स में, और जो सोशल सिनेरियो है वो एक अलग पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू में उस सोशल जो टर्म्स है उस समय जो सोशल प्रॉब्लम्स है सोशल कंडीशंस है उसको जस्टिफाई करने की कोशिश कर. नाउ एक्सप्लेटिंग द सोशल डिफरेंसेस द सोशल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. अब इस परस्पेक्ट में आप कैसे उसको देखते हैं बेटा, ठीक है. सो बुद्धिस्ट सजेस्ट इन द अल्टरनेटिव अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ द सोशल इनइक्वालिटीज एंड ऑफ द इंस्टीट्यूशंस रिक्वायर्ड फॉर द रेगुलेटिंग द सोशल कन्फ्लिक्ट. Text known as the Sutta Pitaka. Sutta Pitaka is the belong to the Buddhism. Suggests that all being lived in the idyllic state of the peace, taking from the nature only what they need of the each meal. If human beings were the responsible for the creations of the system, they could also the change at the times. Handling the text, historian and the Mahabharata. Okay. Language and the context. The version of the Mahabharata we have been the considering in the Sanskrit. Historians usually classify the contents of the present day text under the two broad heads. First, the sections had the contain the stories designated as the narratives, and the sections that contain the perspectives about the social zone designated as the dialectic. So the division is no means water rights and the dialectic sections including the stories and the narratives often contain the social messages also. 6.2 the authors and the dates. The original story was the probably composed the charioteer boats known as the Sutasu. अब देखो जो महाभारत है बेटा उसका जो ओरिजिनल स्टोरी है वो सुतास ने लिखा था। सुतास कौन होते थे? जो बेटा एशियन में जो राजास होते थे, जो उनका रथ होता था, चैरियट होता था, उसको चलाने वाला सारथी जिसको हम बोलते हैं, ठीक है। सो जैसे महाभारत में जब युद्ध हुआ तो अर्जुन के सारथी बने थे श्री कृष्ण अर्जुन, तो वो बेटा चैरियटर बने थे, है ना, वी नोन एज सूता। जैसे कर्ण थे जो सूत थे बेटा, who generally accompanied the Christian Kshatriyas warriors to be the battlefield and composed poems celebrating their victories and other achievements. From the 5th century BC, Brahmins took over the story and began to the committed in the writing, and this was the time when the chiefdoms such as those who Kuras, Kauras and the Panchals, in around whom the story of epic revolves were the gradually become the kingdom. Another phase in the composition of period between the around 200 BC to 200 C, the period between when the worship of the Vishnu was growing in the importance and the Krishna, one of the important figures of the epic, was coming to be the identified with the Vishnu. Subsequently, between around 200 and the around 400 BC, large declatic sections resembling the Manu Smriti were added. Composition of the Mahabharata traditionally attributed to the saint named the Vyas, Ved Vyas. Search of convents. अब देखिए बेटा, महाभारत एपिक कंटेन द वेविड डिस्क्रिप्शन बैटल्स फॉर। अब इसके अंदर हमें अलग अलग बेटा सीन्स मिलते हैं देखने को, है ना। इन 1951 द आर्कोलॉजिस्ट बीबी लाल एक्सक्यूटेड एट द विलेज ऑफ हस्तिनापुर इन द मेरठ, ठीक है, यूपी में है। इन द सजेस्ट दैट हैव मेनी द कैपिटल्स ऑफ द कुरुस मेंशन द नेक्स्ट लाल फाउंड द एविडेंस ऑफ द 5 ऑक्यूपेशनल लेवल्स, ठीक है। फर्स्ट सेकंड फेज 12th century to 7th century and थर्ड फेज 6th century to 3rd century. नाउ द स्टोरी ऑफ द्रौपदीज मैरिज। अब देखिए द्रौपदीज मैरिज का स्टोरी क्या है बेटा, विद द पांडव्स फॉर द इंस्टिस टू द पोलेंड्री। तो अब देखिए यहाँ पे बेटा द्रौपदी के एक से ज़्यादा पति थे। द मैरिज विद 5 पांडव्स ब्रदर्स, ठीक है। अब उनसे उनकी हुई थी बेटा, तो उसके साथ अलग अलग आपको देखने को मिलेगा। सो द नैरेटिव हाउ एवर द स्टोरियन अटेम्प्ट टू एक्सप्लेन इन द वेराइटीज ऑफ द वे some suggest the Polynesian union indicated the Polynesian may have been the prevalent among the ruling elite at the some points of the times, whereas the other suggests that the Polynesian gradually fell into the disfavor among the Brahmins. Some historians suggest that the practice of the Polynesian may have been seen unusual from the Brahminical points of view. तो कुछ लोग इसको बेटा सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं, ब्राह्मण्स के व्यू से ये अच्छा नहीं था। एंड लास्ट द डायमेटिक टैक्स, ठीक है, महाभारत is a dynamic text as the several stories that originated in the specific regions or the circulated among the certain peoples found their way into the epic, and the central story was often retold in the different ways such as the plays, dance and other kits for the narrators. So finally we say in this chapter we have discussed many social problems, also the types of marriage, Draupadi's students, the very common features, and also what is the main point of the condition of the social hierarchy in the woman, and what is the condition of the four system like Brahman, Kshatriyas, Vaidyan and Sudras. So thank you, this video, your chapter has been completed. Thank you.